At present, we understand, there is a very fanciful view of the greater community amongst many people. It is believed that those who are technologically advanced are spiritually advanced as well. Yet we can assure you that this is not the case. You yourselves, though more technologically advanced now than you were previously, have not spiritually advanced to a very great degree. You have more power, but with power comes the need for greater restraint. There are those in the greater community who have far more power than you at a technological level, and even at the level of thought. You will evolve to deal with them, but weaponry will not be your focus. For warfare on an interplanetary scale is so destructive that everyone loses. What are the spoils of such a conflict? What advantages does it secure? Indeed, when such conflict does exist, it happens in space itself and rarely in terrestrial environments. Rogue nations and those who are destructive and aggressive are quickly countered, particularly if they exist in well-populated areas, where commerce is carried on. Therefore, it is necessary for you to understand the nature of conflict in the universe, because this will give you insight into the visitors and their needs, why they function the way they do, why individual freedom is unknown amongst them, and why they rely upon their collectives. This gives them stability and power, but it also renders them vulnerable to those who are skilled with knowledge. Knowledge enables you to think in any number of ways, to act spontaneously, to perceive reality beyond the obvious, and to experience the future and the past. Such abilities are beyond the reach of those who can only follow the regimens and the dictates of their cultures. You are far behind the visitors technologically, but you have the promise to develop skills in the way of knowledge, skills which you will need and must learn to rely upon increasingly. We would not be the allies of humanity if we did not teach you about life in the greater community. We have seen much. We have encountered many different things. Our worlds were overcome, and we had to regain our freedom. We know, from error and from experience, the nature of the conflict and the challenge that you face today. That is why we are well suited for this mission in our service to you. However, you will not meet us, and we will not come to meet the leaders of your nations. That is not our purpose. Indeed, you need as little interference as possible, but you do need greater assistance. There are new skills that you must develop, and new understanding that you must gain. Even a benevolent society, should they come to your world, would have such an influence and such an impact upon you, that you would become dependent upon them, and would not establish your own strength, your own power and your own self-sufficiency. You would be so reliant upon their technology, and upon their understanding, that they would not be able to leave you. And indeed, their arrival here would make you even more vulnerable to interference in the future. For you would desire their technology, and you would want to travel along the corridors of trade in the greater community. Yet you would not be prepared, and you would not be wise. That is why your future friends are not here. That is why they are not coming to help you. For you would not become strong if they did. You would want to associate with them, you would want to have alliances with them, but you would be so weak that you could not protect yourselves. In essence, you would become part of their culture, which they do not will. Perhaps many people will not be able to understand what we are saying here, but in time this will make perfect sense to you, and you will see its wisdom and its necessity. At this moment, you are far too frail, too distracted and too conflicted to form strong alliances, even with those who could be your future friends. Humanity cannot yet speak as one voice, and so you are prone to intervention and manipulation from beyond. As the reality of the greater community becomes more well known within your world, and if our message can reach enough people, then there will be a growing consensus that there is a greater problem facing humanity. This could create a new basis for cooperation and consensus. For what possible advantage can one nation in your world have over another when the entire world is threatened by the intervention? And who could seek to gain individual power in an environment where alien forces are intervening? If freedom is to be real in your world, it must be shared. It must be recognized and known. It cannot be the privilege of the few, or there will be no real strength here. We understand from the unseen ones that already there are people who seek world dominion because they believe they have the visitors' blessings and support. They have the visitors' assurance that they will be assisted in their quest for power. And yet, what are they giving away but the keys to their own freedom and the freedom of their world? They are unknowing and unwise. They cannot see their error. We also understand that there are those who believe that the visitors are here to represent a spiritual renaissance and new hope for humanity, but how can they know, they who know nothing of the greater community? It is their hope and their desire that this be the case, and such wishes are accommodated by the visitors, for very obvious reasons. What we are saying here is there can be nothing short of real freedom in the world, real power and real unity. We make our message available to everyone, and we trust that our words can be received and considered seriously. Yet we have no control over your response, and the superstitions and the fears of the world may make our message beyond the reach for many. But the promise is still there. To give you more, we would have to take over your world, which we do not want to do. Therefore, we give all that we can give without interfering in your affairs. Yet there are many who want interference. They want to be rescued or saved by someone else. They do not trust the possibilities for humanity. They do not believe in humanity's inherent strengths and capabilities. They will give over their freedom willingly. They will believe what they are told by the visitors, and they will serve their new masters, thinking that what they are being given is their own liberation. Freedom is a precious thing in the greater community. Never forget this. Your freedom, our freedom. And what is freedom, but the ability to follow knowledge, the reality that the Creator has given you, and to express knowledge, and to contribute knowledge in all of its manifestations. Your visitors do not have this freedom. It is unknown to them. They look at the chaos of your world, and they believe that the order that they will impose here will be redeeming for you, and will save you from your own self-destruction. This is all they can give, for this is all that they have. And they will use you, but they do not consider this inappropriate, for they themselves are being used, and know of no alternative to this. Their programming, their conditioning, is so thorough, that to reach them at the level of their deeper spirituality holds only remote possibilities. You do not have the strength to do this. You would have to be so much stronger than you are today, to have a redeeming influence on your visitors. And yet, their conformity is not so unusual in the greater community. It is very common in large collectives, where uniformity and compliance are essential to efficient functioning, particularly over vast areas of space. Therefore, do not look at the greater community with fear, but with objectivity. The conditions that we are describing already exist in your world. You can understand these things. Manipulation is known to you. Influence is known to you. You have just never encountered them on such a great scale, nor have you ever had to compete with other forms of intelligent life. As a result, you do not yet have the skills to do so. We speak of knowledge, because it is your greatest ability. Regardless of what technology you can develop over time, knowledge is your greatest promise. You are centuries behind the visitors in your technological development, so you must rely upon knowledge. It is the greatest force in the universe, and your visitors do not use it. It is your only hope. That is why the teaching in greater community spirituality teaches the way of knowledge, provides the steps to knowledge, and teaches greater community wisdom and insight. Without this preparation, you would not have the skill, or the perspective to understand your dilemma, or to respond to it effectively. It is too big. It is too new, and you are not adapted to these new circumstances. The visitor's influence is growing with each passing day. Every person who can hear this, feel this and know this must learn the way of knowledge, the greater community way of knowledge. This is a calling. It is a gift. It is a challenge.